Hi, everyone. Again, many thanks for your attendance on Monday and for the seriousness with which you approached the start of our 3-year journey of learning and implementing restorative practice in the school. I felt bad when so many of you put your hands up to say you wanted to be inspired by the workshop, as I was pretty sure that was not going to happen. I was sure, though, that we were going to start the process of strengthening as we connect our practices and our own behaviors and challenge ourselves to be consistent in those in order to promote positive behaviors and manage negative behaviors. So this is definitely much less about being inspired and much more about being committed to doing hard and highly important work together to overcome what is clearly a significant problem. I also know that our facilitator, Paul, came across as a bit old school, not entirely in tune with us or our pedagogy, told a few too many personal stories, and referred to people in his life in a way that made us feel a bit awkward. But we have no control over the fact that Paul is our facilitator, and we also have no control over his personality or the things that he says. What we do have control of, though, is learning from his experience and expertise with restorative practice and consistently putting that learning into practice ourselves. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we are not expected to get behind Paul as a person, but we are expected to get behind the work so that we can create positive change for ourselves and for our students. I hope that makes sense. A team of us will be debriefing with Paul in the next week or two, so we will have a chance to give him some feedback. He's a good guy, so that he can continue to grow as a facilitator. And I believe he's pretty new to this role, so I'm pretty sure he'll appreciate that. I remember the advice was for us to focus on one behavior at a time. That means our behavior. And if we can, all of us, start using the priming language, no matter how odd it might feel at first, we can all start using the priming language consistently from now onwards, then change is inevitable. I saw several really fast examples of that happening at Burwood on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I think it's important to remember not to use the primer language in a passive-aggressive way or a sarcastic way, or in a way that the kids are immediately going to pick up on that makes it maybe feel a little bit ingenuous, ungenuine. So be really aware of that and careful to make sure that you're using the priming language in a way that comes across as pretty serious. Remember also that there are other things you can do even before using priming language, so pre-priming, basically. The way that you set up your learning environments tells the students a massive amount about what your expectations are for how they need to behave. The routines and systems that you have in place for how they enter and move around and leave the school, again, tells the students what your expectations are for how they need to behave. And the signals and prompts that you use to get your students' attention tells the students what your expectations are for how they need to behave and how they need to listen. There's a whole load of other examples of pre-priming. It's much easier and more powerful to thank your students for meeting your expectations if they know what they are, right? Anyway, that's enough for me. Paul's slides are linked in this message. Have a great weekend. Shabbat Shalom.